there's singing, then there's a study from a pastor, and then we break out into small groups and we look at the program and we try to engage and interact and sharpen each other and challenge each other and find out what God's done in their life and can I learn from that. So in the end, to answer your question, there's a questionnaire on each subject. For instance, your physical body, your spiritual, your career. We fill those in with how are we focusing. And in a nutshell, in the end, you have a blueprint for life, okay, that tells you with goals, crystal clear goals. For my career, I need to be doing something in my career every single day that will impact eternity, that will please God. So for instance, when I pick up the phone and I make a phone call and I call someone, am I loving on them? Am I admiring them? Am I building them up? Am I nurturing the relationship? Or am I treating them hostilely? That's a perfect example. So you have a blueprint in the very end that says, this is my plan for physical, spiritual, financial, and so on and so forth. It's a great program. I would recommend it to anybody looking to do a Bible study.
And so if you run into someone speaking hostile to you on the phone, do you hang up or do you try to correct them?
I will listen and maybe stop and ask if there's something troubling them today. But I will take a loving attitude and listen and let them talk, because most people need to be heard. So I'll just listen out and listen to what they have to say and try to understand and see if there's something that I can do to build them up and to make them feel good and do something for eternity. This program, Blueprint for Life, makes you think about what you're doing today. Whatever you're doing today, you're doing an interview on camera. It challenges you to say, what am I doing today, and does it have eternal value? Because we're all going somewhere one day. You know, cuando seu tempo chega, chega. When your time is up, your time is up.
I think we do have a couple more minutes, though.
Okay. It really challenges you to think about what you're doing with your life and if you're on the right plan. I came away with a focus from the program.
So the next week, was there still 100 and a quarter, or how was the drop-off?
Well, you know how humans are. The drop-off goes 125, 119, 100, 80, and then you get folks that stay there and they really start to bond. As a matter, so much so that after the program was finished, guys, more than 100 are still getting together for barbecue, for exchanging information, for fellowship, for fun, for planning fishing trips and everything like that. It's a fantastic program. Most people go to church because they don't have enough friends. So if you want to meet people and you want to learn and grow and feel like you're on the right path for your life, and every single guy that signs up for Blueprint is feeling like, am I on the right track? Especially when you get to that 40 or 50 years old. You say, I may be done with, because you don't know how much time you're here for, I may be done with half my life. What am I going to do with the second half? Is it going to impact other people? So what I found for me is that I gobbled for 40 years, and now I'm trying to push out, to give more, to bless other people, and to make sure that what I do with my time every day, I'm helping somebody, I'm blessing somebody, I'm making them feel good, I'm paying them some attention. That's Blueprint really makes sure that you understand and you have a God vision right in front of your eyes and in your heart, and you're trying to do what He's designed you to do in your life.
Are the wives excluded from this? Is this men only?
It's a men's group, yeah.
Do they have their own?
They do. They do. My wife has taken Bible study since she's been going to church since she was about 13 years old, and they have women's Bible study. So for instance, if I go on Monday night, I come home about 10 o'clock, my wife goes on a Tuesday or a Thursday night, so we have a date night maybe on Friday. So sure, my wife goes and she does the same thing. She sharpens with friends. She understands what God's design is for her life as a mom, as a employee, and as a spouse. Great program, Blueprint for Life. I'd recommend it to anybody.
And do you tell her when you get home what you talked about, or is it kind of a secret between the guys?
Secret men's club stuff?
Well, because my dad was in the Masons and all that, you know, they got the secret handshake and the 30-second whatever and all that. So is that kind of like, but you discuss it, right? Hey, honey, this is what we talked about. This is what I learned. This is what I think we should be doing from what I learned.
Absolutely. Yeah, because the whole idea is what you learn, you want to implement. Because if you don't implement, what's the value? So I basically we take notes, we fill out a book, we walk away with a blueprint for life. It's filled out. So when I come home, I will share with her nuggets, golden nuggets of things that like for instance, one thing that really impacted me tremendously is relationships. How God values relationships within families. I tend to antagonize my kids a bit. I tend to tease a little bit more than I should, and I realized that it should be more harmony and more lifting up and more nurturing them instead of, men, we generally like to tease a lot. We throw a little digs, a little knives here and there, and I found out how important on God's agenda is relationships. And my eyes just bugged out, and I said, oh my, God's in the trunk or in a U-Haul, and he's not happy with the way I've been teasing my kids. So I come home and I said to my wife, I think I hit a huge nugget where I really need to improve. And so that was a takeaway for me, because I struggle there. I tend to be a little bit negative. I tend to beat on them a little bit. Like, you know how kids' rooms are. There's clothes thrown all over. They eat and they throw their dish in the sink and claim it's done and it's cleaned up. And then I come out and I'll tease them. So for me, that was a right in your face of something I need to do. So I told my wife, and I said, you got to help me. So if you hear me start to bash or be negative, throw up a flag, stop, and tell me you're not doing the right thing. So that's how we've implemented some of this in my life.
Love it.
It's a fantastic program. I would recommend it to anybody. 125 guys started, probably 80 some finished, because people get busy in work and travel and things like that. But the cool thing is now, the guys liked it so much that they came to the pastor and said, if the church is available on Monday nights, we would like to continue to meet, continue to fellowship, have some worship, have a study, and make new friends. And when I go to church now, I see guys that I met in the study, and it's great. You walk up to them, you get a hug, you ask them what's going on, you make a plan to go fishing or do something together. It's fabulous. And guys are continuing to come back week after week because they feel better about themselves, how they're refocused now, and how they're spending their time and their energy.
Blueprint for life, Frank.
Blueprint for life.
Thanks for coming and telling us about it.
My pleasure.
Oh, you got to call him. We'll be back after this on Man Talk.
Okay. So
They took off.